Hey guys, Happy New Year! Welcome back to Brett Ryan Hair Artistry, you guys. I know I haven't been there every single week. I only put 2 videos out in December, but I'm back and it's a new year and I'm going to be back to my back-to-back videos. We're going to take it back to August. This is another tutorial that's from way back 5-6 months ago when I shot it when I first moved into my new salon suite at Sola. And this is going to show you guys how I keep a nice lived-in blonde around a level 9.5, but keeping the dimension in there, also giving that rooted look, but still allowing longevity with Babylights and a nice, beautiful grow out. This girl only comes and gets her hair done probably once a year, so I need something very nice and long lasting. We're going to be using Blonde Me Schwarzkopf, of course, with 20 volume, my holy grail, with a 16th ounce of Olaplex, and we're going to be low lighting her as well. That's the key here. Because by doing, 2 highlights to 1 low light, that's going to keep that dimension in there. She has about 6 inches to 7 inches of regrowth, and that's great and perfect. She's around a 5.5 level because we'll play off of that, keeping that dimension in there with that low light. Since we're using Redken Shades EQ for the low light, and she's roughly a level 5, closer to a 5, less than a 6, our formula is 15 grams of 5N, and only 5 grams of 6G. I like to fill my lowlights when highlighting and foiling with a gold. Unless I'm really going darker in the level 4s, 3s, stuff like that, then I'll dive into the copper. But gold always fades out a little nicer and it doesn't get too brassy when it fades out.
I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't want to be like you. If you want to take it back to the 50s, maybe I'm not the guy for you. You're dying not to work, but work until you die, you know that's true. Have you thought it through? Cause you love to tell me what to do. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you regret it. Me too. So you can keep your suit and your tie. Gotta hope that it strangles you. Yeah, I do. You buy shit you don't need to impress the ones you hate. That's so fucked up. Cause everything you own just ends up owning you. So, dear society, you fucking suck. Say no, I'm not like you. I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out. I'll make you regret it.
Alright, so you guys can see I'm doing back-to-back-to-back Babylights and baby lowlights. Very, very fine, very, grueling, hard, but it is so worth it when you're doing a lived-in look because it's going to grow out beautiful. You've seen how her hair looked. Her hair is not the healthiest, and it's not, you guys can tell it's very obvious. I'm not trying to overlap, but if the ends need it, because it's been about a year, more than a year almost, since we did her hair last, and honestly, the brass, the lack of coming in and having treatments done, using a flat iron every single day, that's going to take a real big toll on the hair. But at this point, we already knew we were going to cut a little bit off, get her a little bit healthier, and most of her hair was already virgin at that root area through the mids. So as long as we dusted off those ends, she should be fine. She was willing to be okay with overlapping it, so that's what we did. So as long as you have your client's permission or a model's permission, it is okay. That's between you and them. As long as you explain to them the risks that come with overlapping and all that stuff, you should be good. You can even make them sign a contract, saying that, you went over everything with them, knowing the risk, and they're okay with that, just to make sure you're backed up. So we're doing a brick lay pattern up the back now, and every other foil, I'm doing a low light. I like to stagger them. I like to do a low light when I feel like I want it there. I don't like it doing it in an order of 2 to 1, 3 to 1, Sometimes I will, depending on the look I'm going for, but with her, I'm putting them in randomly, which is how I do it mostly 90% of the time.
about your posts. I know they're only fake. Show us what you own and how much money that you make. Yeah, I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't wanna be like you. Keep your stupid job, pretend that you're the person you wanted to be. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're died inside. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out and make you regret it. Someone like you should worry about. Maybe it's you who's upside down. I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it.
All right, so we let her process for about 45 minutes. Shampooed her hair really, 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 really well. I've been loving Amika's, the Normcon, and I also love the Hydro Rush, the blue one. I love that, you guys. I usually always clarify my blondes when I rinse and shampoo, but when they have lowlights, I do not. We don't want to strip any of that color out at all. So we went through and we did split her down the middle. I did Redken Shades EQ, 6N, 5NA, mostly 6N with a little dribble drabble of 5NA. You guys know I love adding a neutral, mostly as the main formula with a little drop of NA to cool the base down. And we are doing a root shadow. I have a video coming, part 2. I haven't done one in about 3 years, where I break down my tap, shadow, and smudge, the differences, how it's evolved, and how I changed it since the last video 3 years ago. All right, so we're gonna let that shadow sit for about 10 minutes and leave that hairline out. I will tap that the last 2 minutes before we rinse and tone her. But for her all over formula, it was just on the screen. You've seen it. We did Redken Shades EQ 10VV, 10NB, 9NW, 9P, and 9GB. We did 2 ash tones and we did 3 warm colors. What this is going to do is make a very nice neutral, keep it bright, but still cancel out any unwanted warmth. Once I bring my clients back to the sink by the bowl, I end up combing everything back, because I always tap that hairline the last 2 minutes. Comb everything back, and then with a shadow and tap, most of the time I will rinse the actual tap and shadow out. In this case, that's what I'm doing. She sat for about 12 minutes. So we're rinsing with cool water. The Olaplex #2 treatment is always on the end as a barrier. So that's how I'm able to blend. Then I pull those money pieces out and push them forward. Then I tone the rest of the head, and similar as I did with the root shadow, I will actually bring them in the last minute before I rinse so they don't end up sucking up any ash too much. Even though there's some warmth in the formula, your baby hairs are always more prone to porosity, and it can go a little purpley or anything like that, and you want to keep them bright and not too dingy. And I apologize, guys, if you can hear Tiffany barking. She's all the way downstairs. She has a bigger mouth than me, and I keep hearing her in the background, so I do apologize. I hope it's not that big of a deal.
I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't wanna be like you. If you wanna take it back to the 50s, maybe I'm not the guy for you. You're dying not to work, but work until you die, you know that's true. Have you thought it through? 'Cause you love to tell me what to do.
All right, guys, look how beautiful. This is in this lighting here in the salon. Nice and lived in. Oh, it's beautiful. Her nice money piece. Look at that volume from the blow dry. We touched up the curtain bangs and we blunted everything out because her hair literally needed the dusting. Oh, I didn't do the dusting. I gotta do the dusting, but that's it. Forgot I didn't do the dusting, but that's nothing else. Just really quick. And then we're gonna wave it so you guys can see it. I like to show you it straight first. I don't like to hide things with waves, so look at that, you guys. Gorgeous. Amazing.
Say no, I'm not like you.